Hello students, this is Jayapai speaking on the topic fuel cells. In this class we are studying something about fuel cells, definition and what are the reactions taking place in a fuel cell, what is the schematic representation of the fuel cell, what are the advantages and limitations of fuel cells. Overall it is discussion on basic concepts of fuel cells. Moving on, let us first see what is the definition of a fuel cell. Fuel cell is nothing but a galvanic cell. So this term you are quite familiar with. The fuel cell is a galvanic cell which converts chemical energy present in the fuel. It is a galvanic cell which converts chemical energy present in the fuel, that is readily available fuel. Fuel must be readily available. Whatever amount of energy present in the form of chemical energy in the fuel, it is directly converted into electrical energy. But for this conversion to occur, it is not enough if we have only fuel. We should also have one good oxidant. So oxidant is nothing but a oxidizing agent. Commonly the oxidizing agent used in all fuel cells, it is oxygen. In most of the fuel cells, oxidant is nothing but O2, that is oxygen. So definition of fuel cell goes like this. It is basically a galvanic cell. Any galvanic cell you take, the primary function of that cell is to convert chemical energy into electrical energy. But in this case fuel cells, it is the chemical energy present in the readily available fuel into electrical energy using a good oxidant. We should have the combination of fuel and oxidant. So in the fuel cell, fuel is constantly supplied at the anode and oxidizing agent is continuously supplied at the cathode. So fuel and oxidizing agents are supplied at the anode and cathode respectively. And you know that in any galvanic cell, at anode a specific reaction takes place and at cathode also a particular reaction occurs. Anode, it is always oxidation taking place and cathode, it is always the reduction. So when fuel is supplied at the anode, it is oxidized. Fuel is subjected to oxidation and oxidizing agent is getting reduced at the cathode. For your better understanding, I will just show you one fuel cell. See, this is one fuel cell. This is a schematic representation of a fuel cell. It consists of anode. So this is the anode. This one is anode. And this is the cathode. Okay, anode and cathode. This anode and cathode are separated by electrolyte. So in between anode and cathode, we have a electrolyte. So electrolyte is flanked by anode and cathode, or anode and cathode are separated by electrolyte. So at the anode always fuel is let in. So fuel is made to enter the or it is passed at the anode. Fuel is continuously passed at the anode. The excess fuel, if any, it comes out from the bottom outlet. And oxidant is nothing but oxidizing agent and it is always oxygen in most of the cases. Oxidant in, this is supplied at the cathode, and excess oxygen, if any, that will go out and products are also going out from the bottom outlet. So here anode and cathode are connected by means of a metallic wire with the external load. Okay, fuel is subjected to oxidation, means fuel undergoes oxidation at the anode, releasing electrons. So when oxidation takes place, electrons are released. The released electrons are moving in the external circuit and then they reach cathode. At the cathode, you are constantly supplying oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent reacts with the, consumes these electrons and gets reduced. So this is the schematic picture of any fuel cell for that matter. You have anode and cathode, just like a galvanic cell. Fuel cell, it consists of anode and a cathode. Anode and cathode are separated by electrolyte. So in between anode and cathode you have a electrolyte, and fuel is always supplied at the anode, where fuel is undergoing oxidation, liberating electrons, and electrons move in the external circuit and they reach the cathode. And oxidizing agent, there is oxygen, is always supplied at the cathode, where it is supposed to undergo reduction by consuming electrons. Electrolyte is the path that is for the movement of ions. External circuit is the path for the movement of electrons. So coming back to the discussion, now electrode reactions. At anode, always fuel is undergoing oxidation. When fuel undergoes oxidation, you get a oxidized product. So fuel is subjected to oxidation with the release of electrons. So when fuel undergoes oxidation, electrons are released. It is an electrochemical reaction. Our aim is to produce electrons at one electrode, and those electrons are made to reach another electrode so that it is consumed. So at cathode we are constantly supplying oxidizing agent, that is oxidant. These electrons are consumed by the oxidizing agent, and that gets reduced. So these are the reactions taking place that is at anode and cathode respectively in the case of fuel cells. Moving on, how do you represent a fuel cell? So it is very easy if you have understood the schematic representation of fuel cell, then writing the general representation is very easy. Going back to the same diagram once again. Now here you know that fuel is supplied at the anode. So remember, fuel is supplied at the anode. So fuel in contact with anode, oxidizing agent is in contact with the cathode. So in between anode and cathode you have electrolyte. So keeping this in mind, you have to write the representation. It is, now you see, in between anode and cathode you have electrolyte. So electrolyte is flanked by anode and cathode, and at the anode fuel is supplied. So fuel, to the extreme left you have fuel, then, and at the cathode you are supplying oxidizing agent. To the extreme right you will have a oxidizing agent. If you are taking hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, whenever we write like this, hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, the first one is the fuel and second one is always the oxidizing agent. So fuel is a hydrogen and oxidizing agent is a oxygen. So fuel is supplied at the, hydrogen is supplied at the anode and oxygen is supplied at the cathode. In between anode and cathode we have the solution, that is alkaline KOH if it is alkaline fuel cells, and acid fuel cells means we can take a sulfuric acid as the electrolyte. Now let us see what are the advantages of fuel cells. There are many advantages. First one, it is like a high efficiency of energy conversion process. So fuel cells, in that we are taking a readily available fuel, abundantly available fuel, that chemical energy present in the fuel we are converting it into electrical energy. It's been observed that 95 to 98% of the chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. So high efficiency of energy conversion process. This is a big plus as far as fuel cells are concerned. Second one, they are eco-friendly devices. So fuel cells are eco-friendly. That is because products of the overall reaction, they are not toxic. So whatever product you will get, ultimately it could be water or it could be carbon dioxide, like that. Therefore the products of the combustion or products of the overall reaction are not toxic, and therefore they are called environmental friendly devices. They are known for their silent operation. As long as they are supplied with the fuel and oxidizing agent at anode and cathode respectively, the rest of the thing it is taking place very smoothly. Therefore they are known for their silent operation. They are waiting for the fuel and the oxidizing agent at the respective electrodes. So those things have to be supplied constantly from outside. Then further monitoring is not required. the chemical energy keeps getting converted into electrical energy. They produce direct current for long periods. This is another big plus, that they produce DC, that is direct current for longer periods. And recharging of the fuel cell, there is nothing called recharging of the fuel cell. It is, you need to constantly supply fuel at the anode and continuously supply, that is oxidizing agent, at the cathode. As long as these two are supplied at the respective electrodes, chemical energy is getting converted into electrical energy. And once you stop supplying, energy conversion also stops. There is nothing called recharging, that is by using external power. There is nothing like that. So these are some of the advantages of fuel cells. First one, conversion of energy. It is taking place at high efficiency. About 95 to 98% of chemical energy is getting converted into electrical energy. They are eco-friendly devices or environmental friendly systems, because whatever product we are getting at the end of the reaction, the overall reaction, it is either water or carbon dioxide. They are less toxic. They are known for their silent operation. They don't make noise while during the conversion. During the energy conversion, we need to supply these two reactants constantly at the respective electrodes. Continuously energy conversion keeps happening. They produce a direct current, that is DC, for longer periods, and there is nothing called recharging of the fuel cells. Now, any discovery you take, even though it has, even though they have good good number of advantages, there will be equally good number of limitations as well. Now, firstly, under limitations, the cost of the power produced is high in case of fuel cells. That is due to the high cost of the electrodes. As we are using electrodes here, either platinum electrodes or silver electrodes, you know that these are all noble metals, and they are all very costly. Because costly electrodes are made use of, the power produced is also costly. Fuels in the form of gases and oxygen, that is oxidant, need to be stored in tanks under high pressure. We should have surplus amount of fuel and surplus amount of oxidizing agent, and we need to store them in tanks under high pressure. So power output, it is comparatively, it is not neither it is very high nor it is very low. Power output is comparatively, it is moderate, we can say. And one fuel cell doesn't produce a large amount of voltage. To get appreciable amount of voltage, battery of fuel cells must be made available. That means a large number of fuel cells are to be connected either in series or parallel in order to get high voltage or high current, or both. So points to be remembered under limitations of fuel cells. One is power produced, it is costlier, that is due to the high cost of the electrodes used. And fuels, like whatever fuels we are using, and oxidant also, enough quantity we have to keep in store. That means they have to be stored in tanks under high pressure. And power output is not that great, it is just moderate. And in order to get high voltage, we need to construct a battery of fuel cells, that is fuel cells to be connected either in series or parallel. Moving on. Now, continuation of this basic concepts. At the end of this session, I would like to differentiate between conventional cell and fuel cells. Conventional cell is nothing but a battery cell. Battery means it is a combination of cell. Each cell is considered to be a galvanic cell there. So conventional cell, that is a battery cell, and a fuel cell. How we can differentiate? Now in battery cell, if you take, their electrodes are assisted with the catalyst. Means electrodes are present there. They are the electrodes as such, they are not impregnated with the catalyst. Some catalyst will be there in the system, which will help enhance some reaction. But electrodes and catalysts, they are separate, they are not together. That is in conventional cell. But whereas in fuel cell, it is not like that. Electrodes actually come with catalyst. That means electrodes are impregnated with the catalyst. That means catalyst is coated over electrodes, something like that. It's impregnated. Electrodes are impregnated with catalyst, whereas in the case of battery cell, electrodes and catalyst, they are not together, but catalyst will be there to enhance some reaction, but electrodes are not assisted with the catalyst. And electrodes are cheaper but consumed. In the case of conventional cell, cheaper electrodes are being used, but they are consumed. Electrodes are cheaper and consumed. Whereas in fuel cells, electrodes are very costly. We are using platinum electrodes or silver electrodes and all. They are not consumed. So cheaper electrodes are used, they get consumed. And costlier electrodes are being used but not consumed. Active materials means your electrolyte you can take. Active materials are mixture of complex chemicals placed along with the electrodes. Whatever active material we speak here, that is nothing but the electrolyte. Electrolyte, it is a mixture of complex chemicals and placed along with the electrodes. But active materials are here fuel and oxidant. Active materials are fuel and oxidant. They are stored outside the cell and supplied continuously. Means here active materials are there within the along with the electrodes they are present, but active materials here, fuel and oxidant, they are stored outside the cell and they are continuously supplied at the respective electrodes. So byproducts are harmful. Here battery cell byproducts are always we can't say that they are harmless, but most of the times they are harmful. Whereas fuel cell byproducts are always harmless, therefore they are eco-friendly devices. And battery cell, it needs recharging. So once it undergoes complete discharge, then to use it again, it has to be recharged in the case of secondary cells and all. Whereas in fuel cells, they do not require any kind of recharging. They are to be made sure that fuel and oxidizing agents are continuously supplied at the respective electrodes. As long as they are supplied with the active materials, energy conversion keeps happening silently. And then they store chemical energy. Conventional cells always store chemical energy, whereas fuel cells, they do not store chemical energy. They just convert chemical energy into electrical energy. So these are the fundamental differences between conventional cell and fuel cell. Let me just summarize. In the case of conventional cell, electrodes don't come with the catalyst. They are not assisted with the catalyst. Whereas fuel cells, always catalyst comes along with the electrodes. That means electrodes are impregnated with the catalyst. They are together. Second point, electrodes are cheaper here, whereas in fuel cell electrodes are very costly. And here in the conventional cell, electrodes get consumed, whereas in fuel cell, electrodes don't get consumed. And conventional cell, active materials, that is generally it is electrolyte in the case of conventional cell. It's a mixture of complex chemicals. It could be your anode, cathode also. They are a mixture of complex chemicals placed along with the electrodes. So here basically active material means it is electrolyte. So that is placed along with electrodes. Whereas active materials here, that is fuel and oxidizing agent, they are stored outside and they are supplied continuously at the respective electrodes. Byproducts means once the reaction is over, whatever products are formed, they are most of the times they are harmful, whereas byproducts are harmless. That is why they are environmental friendly devices. Battery needs recharging. Here battery cell, once it undergoes complete discharge, for again to be used, it has to be recharged by passing current, whereas fuel cells, they do not require any kind of recharging. And conventional cell battery, battery cell, they store chemical energy, whereas fuel cells, there is nothing like storing chemical energy. It is just energy conversion device. And conventional cell, we can say it is energy storage device. It is fuel cells are energy conversion device. Hope you have understood all these things. These are all the fundamental concepts as far as fuel cells are concerned. In our next class, we will be dealing with the working of methanol oxygen fuel cell and solid oxide fuel cell. And these fuel cells, I mean, as far as examination point is concerned, working part is very, very important. Here only some basic questions you might get, like what are the advantages, limitations, and what are the differences between a battery cell and fuel cell, what is the definition of fuel cell, writing the schematic representation of the fuel cell, all those things. Anyhow, before even though working part of any fuel cell is very important, to understand the working, the basic concepts pertaining to the same should be very, very clear. Hope I have made all the things very clear in this video. Still, if you have any queries, anytime you can call and get your doubts clarified. In our next class, we will be studying working of methanol oxygen fuel cell and solid oxide fuel cell. Thank you.